Yes, hello, welcome everybody. Chris here from the Ministry of Dice, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you one almighty phrase that was said to me many, many years ago, and I am utterly convinced that this phrase helped me win more games of Dice Masters, and so I'm going to share it with you because I'm convinced that it's going to help you win more games of Dice Masters too. So without further ado, let's get into it. Yes, okay, thank you for sticking around, folks. And as I said in the intro there, I'm going to share with you today one phrase, one mantra, if you will, that was said to me by a very accomplished player many, many years ago, and I took it to heart, and I'm absolutely certain that it has helped me win more games of Dice Masters. I know Andy, my partner in crime, is a big supporter of this idea, and it's helped him win more games of Dice Masters, and by sharing it with you today, I'm hoping it'll help you win some more games of Dice Masters. But before I get into that, just a little bit of story time with Chris, if you'll indulge me. Regular viewers will have perhaps noticed that this is not my usual location that I'm recording in now. If you follow us on socials, you'll be aware that this last weekend, I tested positive for COVID-19, and I've been very poorly. I'm better now, as you can see. I'm perhaps still a bit pale, but better now. I spent many days in a haze, in bed, thriving and surviving off a kind of foggy viewing of Netflix and Amazon Prime on my Amazon Fire Stick. But today I'm feeling better. As you can see, I've managed to pull myself out of bed. I've found my way to a shower. I've managed to put some clothes on other than pajamas. I'm trying to stand up and be a bit more, bit more energetic, and I realised I was bored and I wanted to make some content, and I've managed to catch up with all the stuff that I pre-recorded before I was ill. So my wife has kindly delivered me to my little isolation cell, has delivered me a microphone and a camera and my laptop, and I've created a little makeshift recording station on the top of a chest of drawers in the corner of the room. So there you go, a bit of context for you. So if you're waiting for, perhaps you're a new player and you're waiting for the next instalment of the Ministry of Dice 101 series that I kicked off recently, or perhaps you're a fan of the lore videos that we create, then they will be coming soon. As I say, I've just not managed to get them recorded before I fell ill, and up here I don't have the usual space and resources that I do. So I thank you for your patience, and that's one of the reasons why I'm just doing this little kind of short, punchy, straight to camera talking head bit today. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, well, yeah, there you go. There's the context. There's the story time. If you enjoy the stuff that we're doing, please don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like down below and all that other YouTubey stuff. You know what to do. You know what to do. Show some love. I've been poorly. But let's get into it, shall we? So, it's pretty straightforward, really. If you want to win more games of Dice Masters, then you must remember this. You want to win more games? Play one of these. No, I'm joking. And while I wouldn't deny that loading a team up with the top tier meta competitive cards is certainly going to give you a strong team list, it is in no way a guarantee of game winning success. In fact, I would argue that if you look back over competitive events from years gone by at WKOs, national championships, world championships, regional championships, online events and online competitive tournaments, that in actual fact you'll find that there are plenty of players who've loaded their team list up with top tier, hard hitting power cards who are still languishing in the lower rankings of Swiss and have to this day never managed to hit the top 16, top 8, top 4, or even go on to a championship final. No, good cards does not mean that you are lock stock guaranteed to win. In fact, the phrase I was told, and the one that I took to heart, that I think is the key, the secret to success, is this: roll more dice. That's right, this championship player said to me, you need to start rolling more dice. And this is true on 2 levels. So the first layer of understanding this idea of roll more dice that I'm advocating for today is simply this: play more. Just play more, practice, expose yourself to as many opportunities to play the game as possible. Play it in as many different ways against as many different people as you can. I have most definitely seen new players come on the scene and they've hit up the socials, hit up the forums, and they've been all like, what's meta, what's powerful, what's strong, and gone straight to the peak of the the top tier hierarchy of competitive meta teams and not really taken the time to learn about the gameplay with those teams and learn about the different types of players who play the game in different ways and some of the more obscure and interesting interactions that the game can offer you. So the first layer of this idea of roll more dice is literal. Just roll more dice, just make more teams, make as many teams as you can and play them and try them out and tinker with them and make small amendments and try to avoid just rushing into net decking the top tier team, because one day a janky team builder will turn up to your event and they will catch you with your pants down. And you'll be like, whoa, what's that interaction? I don't even know what it does. Let me read your cards. You have to learn game text. You have to learn interactions. You have to learn combos. You have to learn different player styles. And there's no shortcut. There's no shortcut route to guaranteed success. The only way to do that is to just get a team built and accept the fact that you might lose a few games to begin with. But just by playing more, you're learning and growing, developing your skills. And then you can walk away and go, why didn't that team work? What haven't I figured out about this team list? Tinker, 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 or practice, practice, practice. This has been in the wind for Dice Masters players for many, many years. Some of the most accomplished championship players in the early days of the game used to talk on podcasts like The Reserve Pool, which is long gone, but shout out to the guys over at the Reserve Pool. And they used to say, figure out your first 3 turns, practice your first 3 turns, put yourself in situations where your team is working sub-optimally or is facing against challenges that are really tough for it, so you can learn and figure out and practice and play with that team. I can't stress it enough. The only way to get good at this game is to play and expose yourself as much as possible. And if that means you've got to get yourself a webcam and figure out how to play online and come and join us in some of the online events or get involved in some of the kind of standing weekly get-togethers, then do it. Then do it. The way to win more games in Dice Masters is simply to roll more dice. And by that, I mean play more. The second layer to this idea of roll more dice is less a philosophy, I suppose, like the first layer where it's all about play more, practice, learn not just your own team, but as many teams as possible, learn how as many different players as possible players I've just described. No, the second layer is actually a bit more literal. And yeah, I mean, it's simply when you're playing the game, just roll more dice. And the way to do that is to master ramp. I am absolutely telling you that if you spoke to any of our world champions, any of our national champions, they will tell you that the person who rolls more dice in the game is going to win. Largely speaking, that the person who set their team up to allow them to have the spending power to buy what they want when they need it and to churn what they want through so that they've got it when they need it is going to more likely win the game. I mean, I swear to God, it doesn't matter how amazing your win condition is. It doesn't matter how awesome your control setup is on your team. If you can't put yourself into a position where you're rolling more dice, which then equates to more spending energy in your main step to buy what you need, and then you can't churn that through, it doesn't matter how great the win condition is if you never see it during the game. I mean, take a look at gameplay videos. Go and speak to Ben Said Scott. He'll tell you that the first thing he figures out is his ramp machine. Gets his ramp machine going, and that's going to allow him to buy what he needs when he needs it, and then cycle it through so he's getting it at the right moment, at the right time during the game. So the second layer to the idea of roll more dice is a literal layer. Just set yourself up to actually roll more dice. The person who's rolling more dice in a game is going to stand a far better chance of winning than the person who's not rolling many dice. So no team should be set up just to roll 4 dice a turn. So make your teams so that they're not rolling just 4 dice a turn. Roll more dice. Well, there we go then, folks. I hope you enjoyed seeing Chris play the role of Preacher, True Mr. Six, speaking to the ministry in this video here today. I promise when my isolation is over, I'll be back again with some videos more akin to the like you've become accustomed to from the Ministry of Dice when I have access to my usual resources. But certainly, if you've got any thoughts or comments on the idea of roll more dice, then head on down to the comments below. Let's have a bit of a conversation. And while you're down there, of course, don't forget to give us the thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. We'd love to have you here. It's the best community in the world. In the meantime, keep it Ministry of Dice for your Dice Masters content, and I'll catch you on the Ministry of Dice podcast, here on the YouTube channel, or over on my website, britroller6.com, sometime soon. Thanks for watching, folks.